Getting back to my lifestyle and how I do this, this is not a lifestyle for anybody that is lazy. Let's put it that way. There are no days off to speak of because you've always got the next season that's upon you in my lifestyle. And what that means is we went through ice fishing season, then we got into fiddlehead season, and then we got into early fiddlehead season and early spring fishing, more or less crashed together. Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my shop today. What I am working on today has a damp, cloudy day around here. I got two things on the schedule today. I need to work on the hunt shack and get that ready for delivery. And the second thing is the season for picking rhubarb. So I've got 3 patches of rhubarb here that need to be picked. So I don't pick I've been, every so many years you need to take a rhubarb patch, split it in half, and transfer it. That keeps it healthy, and that keeps it from being root bound. So any of those things that I cut off last year won't get picked this year, because you like to let it go for at least a year or two before I pick from the new growth. As well as I have some seedlings. I don't cut off. After a while, rhubarb will grow up and grow to seeds. I don't cut that off and throw it away. I let it turn to seed, and what happens is brand new rhubarb patches get started. So over here to the left of me, that's exactly what happened. It was a really good time for those seeds, I guess. Now I've got probably a half a dozen new outgrowths from the rhubarb seed that planted itself. So I will be letting those grow for a couple of reasons. One, I want to get them healthy enough to be able to move them, and I want to move a bunch up to the Rustic log cabin. I've started to redo my rhubarb patch up there because of the moving it for the cabin that we built kind of destroyed the nice healthy patch that I had going. And the other thing, over on Beaver Creek, I want to get a good healthy patch of rhubarb growing over there. I'm not going to apologize for the background noise. This is a real channel, and I do these videos when I have the time, where I'm doing them, and where I'm working for the day. But today's video, I'm working on a series for you guys, and we'll see how it goes. That all depends on you and how much you watch it and all of that. I did a video 2 weeks ago on my lifestyle here in the Great State of Maine. And you guys seem to really like it. I picked up a ton of subscribers from that video, as well as a ton of views. So, and I, of course, want to build videos that you guys like. So this right here is going to be my lifestyle in the Great State of Maine. But anyways, getting back to my lifestyle and how I do this, this is not a lifestyle for anybody that is lazy. Let's put it that way. There are no days off to speak of because you've always got the next season that's upon you in my lifestyle. And what that means is we went through ice fishing season, then we got into fiddlehead season, and then we got into early fiddlehead season and early spring fishing, more or less crashed together. So what I do is I spend some time in the woods picking fiddleheads, and I spend some time out in the boat fishing for salmon, lake trout, and brook trout. So anyways, we're still in the middle of all of that. The fiddleheads have gone by now, but we're still in trout fishing season and all of that. For me, trout fishing season remains really good to the second week, maybe the middle of June, so I'm still right in there. But meantime, I'm working on getting this, to my right, I am working on getting that hunt shack built. And if any of you want to follow that, they come out under Beaver Creek. When you see Beaver Creek, I think we're up to episode number 30 on Beaver Creek, season number 2. So if you want to follow along on Beaver Creek, there's a playlist on my channel. Go find that playlist, Beaver Creek, Building Beaver Creek. And Beaver Creek is just going to continue on. It's all part of my family legacy that I am leaving behind for my family and grandsons. So today we'll be working on that and getting back to just everyday lifestyle. It's a complicated lifestyle, you know. Even though, you know, it's not stressful or anything like that. As far as like if I had a 9-to-5 job or something like that, I would definitely find to be very stressful. I always told people I make a lousy employee. Basically, it's because I spent too much time on my own. So anyways, but all that being said, this is a very busy lifestyle. So if you're looking to, you love this lifestyle, and I imagine that you do because so many people watched my lifestyle in the great state of Maine. So I'm imagining that you do love this kind of lifestyle, and some of you are young enough to adventure onto it. And if you're older, don't let that hold you back either. What I tell everybody is if you've got an interest in this, just plain start. Get out there, start, and start building, whether you're 50, 60, 70, or 80. And you want to try this, get out there and do it. There goes the big dump truck. Most of the time when I'm trying to build a video here, you couldn't get enough background noise. We'll just call it music to our ears. But anyways, what I mean is especially if you're 20. I mean, I started this as a young boy, so I learned a lot of stuff up until I hit 20 that was passed on to me from grandparents, grandfathers, my father, my family, and knowledge like that. And I am fortunate that that stuff was passed on to me. So I'm doing that with you right now. If there's anything that you can pick up from this channel and put towards that lifestyle, that's what this channel is all about. So enjoy the videos and grasp and pick up and use whatever you can to help you accomplish your dream of being off-grid or this kind of lifestyle. And you make your lifestyle what fits your life, just like I make my lifestyle fit my life. There's lots and lots of skills that you'll see in these videos. I'm still learning skills to this day. So don't think just because you hit 30 or you hit 40 or you hit 50, you've learned all that you can learn. That's not the case at all. The video that came out today, I was welding up brackets for my Beaver Creek countertop. The reason I'm bringing that up is that's a brand new skill for me. I could see a couple of years ago, I was making a lot of trips. There goes another big truck. A couple of years ago, I could see, and I was making a lot of trips to the welding shop for small things. You know, brackets, and I had to have a hitch for the snowmobile welded up. Just small things like that. And not that it was expensive, some of it was. Anytime you want to have something special made, it is expensive. But it was just a pain in the butt. So what I decided to do is I went out and I purchased a small welder. I think I want to say $250, $300 is what the welder costs. You'll see it in that video. I don't do too many reviews on the channel. I like to show you stuff that's working and in progress, and then you can make your mind up from there. But anyways, just because I got so much more stuff I want to cover in this channel. You know, we're knocking on the door of 500 videos now. Let's have a sip of coffee. But anyways, 2 years ago I purchased that welder just to start taking care of the small projects that I have. The very first project I had for it was on my utility trailer. I had banged into enough trees with it and lumber piles that my brackets that held on my lights, my tail lights, had finally broke off. So last spring I backed the trailer in here, ground everything down, and welded those brackets back onto the trailer, and then assembled my lights on the back of the trailer. So that was the very first project. I mean, the whole thing took maybe 15 minutes, where it would have taken 2 hours plus to drive to the welding shop. So learning how to weld is a brand new skill for me. And I wanted to learn how to weld too for trapping, because all the traps need to be modified just a little bit for them to be legal in the state of Maine. So, and this little welder will do that for me. There's certain things that I want to move on we'll get into that, and I want to move the chain from the end to the center, and I'll weld it on and weld it into place, all of that. As well as some of the traps, the pans need to be welded and stuff like that. So this little welder is going to come in handy for that. And as you saw the other day, I used the little welder to make them brackets for Beaver Creek countertop. Now the next project I'm going to have for that welder is I have a 3-burner gas stove that I need to put legs on it and move that over to Beaver Creek deer camp, so that I will have a 3-burner. It's a camper stove out of a camper, and I'm going to build some legs for it to set on that. That'll give me an oven and 3 burners. So the kitchen in that place is going to be quite nice for a small building. But bringing all that up to say, at my age, I'm still learning skills. So there's nothing wrong with anyone else still learning skills as you get older too. I learn something new every day that I'm in the woods. That is my lifestyle. You build on top of knowledge, you build on top of everything that you learn. It's just the way it is. You never stop learning if you want this kind of lifestyle, because there's so much that you need to know. But don't get discouraged. It comes a little bite at a time. If you're 20, I say start now and throw yourself into it. Don't wait. Don't wait until you can afford it. Don't wait until this or that. And don't worry about getting all the fancy equipment, all of that. Learn how to barter. Learn how to trade. Learn to recognize a good deal when you see it. I have several boats, if you follow my videos. There's not a boat there that cost me more than $200. And I'm embarrassed to say how many boats I have. Because they're here and there and everywhere. I'll tell you, I have 10 boats. I got 10 boats, and I have 3 canoes. And I have 3 kayaks. None of them I have spent more than $200 for. I salvaged a 18-foot aluminum boat out of the junkyard 2 years ago. I paid $100 for that. I paid the price of scrap for that. There's nothing wrong with the boat. The only thing that I like to paint my boats green. If you notice, they all look green because they are green. I paint them with hunter green. So I'm going to throw a coat of paint on this boat. I need to put in a transom board for the outboard. Register it, put the stickers on it, and that boat is up and running and in the water for $100 and the cost of 2 quarts of paint. The wood I will be using cherry for the transom because I have cherry on hand. I also have some oak on hand, and maybe it'll either be cherry or it'll be oak. I got to flip the boat over and measure again for where it's going to go, and then push it through the planer here and all of that. But my point is these are all skills, learning how to barter, because boats cost way too much if you're just getting into it. And the amount of boats, I have so many boats because I use so many boats. 3 kayaks and 1 boat is going to go to Beaver Creek, and they're going to stay there. It's a mile back in with the 6-wheeler. I'm putting in a small dock, and those boats are going to stay there and live there and be there for my family. It's just a small boat, 12-foot aluminum boat, but that's perfect for running up and down the stream. The reason I need a boat there, or a canoe, is if I shoot an animal on this side of the Beaver Creek and he manages to get to the other side, I don't want to have to swim across Beaver Creek to get him. Which, it's very easy for a deer. If you shoot, I'm hunting right on the edge. My funnel, what I call a good deer funnel, comes right down the side of Beaver Creek. So it's not that far-fetched to be able to shoot a deer on my side of the stream and have him make it to the other side before he dies. You know, a deer after shooting him in the heart can still go a couple 100 yards. Maybe not, but I've seen them go. I've seen them run half the length of the field before they dropped. So that's just one of the reasons that I want a boat over there. And the other reason I want a boat over there is fiddlehead season. There's nothing any more easier than going down a stream like that and picking fiddleheads. You throw all your gear in the boat, you throw a bunch of buckets in the boat, and then you know, you mosey down the stream, you find a patch of fiddleheads, you fill up your buckets, and then you go back to your dock and you lug them home and take care of them. So that's what I mean by different skills and having this different equipment. But if you got to spend $5,000 or $10,000 like they want for a boat nowadays, you're not going to be able to afford that kind of lifestyle. So when you're planning your lifestyle to kind of look at how mine is going, keep that in mind. There's not a boat there that I haven't bought that cost over $200. Most of them was $100 to $150. I have two 12-foot boats. One I traded for cleaning up a bunch of garbage at a guy's camp, so I got that boat for free. That was bartering. The 12-foot boat I bought, the other 12-footer, I bought that one for $150. The 18-footer I paid $100 for. The boat you see me fishing in this spring, I paid $250 for that, but it came with a galvanized boat trailer under it. So as you can see, that was a really good deal. That was one of those deals that you don't pass up. Now at that point, that boat was a piece of junk. It was a boat you drive with a steering wheel. Everything inside of that boat was rotten. So the first thing I did was gut the boat down to the hull, put in a new floor, nothing fancy. Everything I do is hemlock boards, rough cut. I put in a rough sawn hemlock board floor. I threw in some seats, and that boat is up and running. Put a new transom on it, and that boat's up and running. And like I said, I got the cost of that lumber, and I got the cost of the boat and the trailer. Like I said, the boat and trailer was $250. That's a 16-foot aluminum boat. So that's how you save money to be able to do what I do. And if you can't find deals like that, you will not be able to afford this kind of lifestyle, because there's too much equipment involved in it. You know, it's not like the dream that you see on a lot of YouTube channels, where everything that they do, they're going to throw in their knapsack and going to live happily ever after. That's you know, it's just not, that's not reality as far as long term. That's good for a weekend trip or something like that, but that's not reality. Reality is it takes a lot of skills, it takes a lot of tools, equipment. Can't say enough about that, and being able to spot a good deal when you see it. A couple other things. I just got a couple of things for show and tell here. Now I don't know what I'm going to use this for. I know where it's going. It's going out to Beaver Creek, and I'm going to put that on a post close by. And I got another one here. These were free beside the road. You know, all I had to do was stop and pick them up. So I did. But what I really stopped for, I really wasn't stopping for these. What I was stopping for, and I'll go get one so you can see it. This is the bucket. I know that you've seen them in my boat last week. The eel trapping. Maybe you didn't see it, but I had an eel trapping video came out, and I used this to put my rotten bait into. So these buckets, they were free. They got a nice lid on them where they shut good. They're clean inside. I'll be using these for many chores in my lifestyle. So don't drive by something like this if you want to live my lifestyle. These are the areas that you save money, so that you will have gas money, you will have bait money, all of that kind of stuff. If you're spending money on this, you're not spending money on fuel and stuff like that. You're not spending money on tackle. If you're spending money on these buckets, that's tackle money. Think of every one of those buckets you buy as a Rapala lure. Years ago, you could get 2 of them for $5. When I purchased all of mine, Now I believe they're $7 or $8. So if you buy in a bucket for $5, you could put that money towards a fishing lure. Those are the things that you need to do if you want to accomplish this kind of lifestyle. You know, that's you know, I can only do and say what I do. I solve problems in my life. I try to solve in my life. It's it's real problems, real solutions for the moment, and you have to be very creative. And when you look at something, you don't look at it as a piece of junk. I know that there's people around me that really get a kick out of some of the stuff that I haul home or that I haul out into the woods. And we'll get into that more in these videos. I've got some other things that I do out in the woods that I really think that you will find interesting. It deals with caches. Basically because of what's going on right now in this country. So I look back now and I laugh and smile because I see a lot of people scrambling right now. And man, this has just been a lifestyle for 25, 30 years for me. And I get a chuckle now out of something that I started 25 years ago because of my lack of trust for government and government-run agencies. We can put it there and leave it kindly, can't we? And the other thing I want you guys to feel like you're sitting here next to the shop on a bench having coffee with me. Two old friends or a bunch of friends getting together, just chewing the fat and trying to understand this lifestyle and everything that goes into it. The only thing I got to, because I've seen it over and over and over again in this state. You know, we live in a state where people come here, just like Alaska, to try to live this lifestyle. I've seen a lot of people come and go, especially in the work that I had. I worked on cabins my entire life until I retired 10 years ago. I worked on every kind of cabin you can imagine. And I saw a lot of people come and go with these cabins. And boy, since then, especially with the invention of the YouTube, where people get out there and try to push how easy this lifestyle is, that a lot of people come and try it. You know, they go up to the Great North Woods of Maine in November and think they're going to live off what they shoot and kill through the winter months. That's just not reality. And that's what I'm hoping in this series, to keep building it and keep going on. And maybe we can bring some reality into the dream of being self-reliant and having this lifestyle. What I was stopping for was it actually turned out to be 17 cat litter buckets. You know, the big ones, big yellow things. 17 of them. And I went by a week later, the same guy's house, and he had 10 more out there. So I stopped and grabbed those. Now, to most people, that's nothing but junk. Well, that's not the way I look at it. The cost of a bucket right now, a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket or a Lowe's bucket, they're around $5 plus the lid. So that's a $5 bill. Well, them cat litter buckets, that's I don't know, maybe a 4-gallon bucket with a lid. So today, like I talked about earlier in this video, I think it's in here, is today I'm gonna, after I work on this, I'm gonna go pick my rhubarb. There's a rhubarb. There's a stalk. You cut this leaf off. Never eat the leaf on a rhubarb. See that? Look at all that food. And behind me is all ready to be picked. I have 3 patches of rhubarb. I use it all winter. I use it for pies, I use it for cookies, I use it for jam. Just so much I can do with this thing, and it comes up all by itself each year. All I do is weed it, feed it once in a while, and it's just a real good food that comes back year after year. And I'm going to use those cat litter buckets to put the rhubarb in, to lug up into the house and start preparing it that way. So that's another tool that I picked up for free, and it was, like I'm sitting on now, must be, well, it's about 25 of them, I guess, or something like that. So what I did was I tied a rope on them and I hung them from a nail up down in the basement so that they'll stay good, and when I need them, they're there. I'll be using them for my trapping. Once I clean my traps and dye them, and one of the other skills, I want to back up here for a minute. One of the other skills that I started last year, and I've never been a trapper in my life, but looking ahead, I always try to look ahead anywhere from 1 year to 5 years in my life and see where I want to be setting 5 years from now. When I was younger, that seemed like a long time. Now that I'm older, I look at time a whole lot different, trust me. But anyways, I could see the handwriting on the wall with what was going on in this country, just like everybody could a couple of years ago. But I don't wait around. You know, I don't wait until the last shoe is dropped before I start making my game plan. So I started putting thoughts together and ideas together, and then I, you know, in this state it's very complicated to get a trapping license. They hold the trapper to a very high standard in the state of Maine. So it took me most of last summer to accomplish that, to be able to get my trapping license. What I want to trap is the Maine black bear for a couple of reasons. One is they outsmart you more times than not if they figure you out, and then it's very difficult to shoot a bear. So with the trap, if they've smarted me out and I can't get one with the rifle, then I hopefully can get one during the nighttime hours with my bear trap. You only allowed one bear trap. But anyways, that's what pushed me into getting the Maine trapping license. But while I was doing all that and studying it, I really fell in love with the rest of trapping. I had no idea how much would go into it, because you have to take the entire course to get your trapping license here in the state of Maine. That means they teach you about raccoon trapping, muskrat trapping, beaver trapping, and they don't teach you everything how to do it. What their goal was to teach you how to stay out of trouble and be legal, and then everything else you got to kind of learn yourself. But there was enough in each one of those classes that you know, a little bit of knowledge passed down by some very old trappers, guys that have been doing it for 40, 50 years. It was so good of a course that I'm going to take it again this year. Not for the license part of it, because I have my license, but for a refresher. I'm going to take in as many of those refresher courses as I can. I will have to travel to do it because it's not something that's done locally, but I'm going to go take the same course, and if I can, I'll take it from the same people. One of them I really enjoyed. It was up in Eastern Maine. I really enjoyed that day. I enjoyed the instructors, and they had a lot of good knowledge. Everything from coyote trapping to beaver trapping. So, but anyways, that's the skill part of my lifestyle. So if you're enjoying this series, let me know in the comments. I will keep it going. I know I'm enjoying it, and it gives me a chance to just share more and more of my lifestyle. So anyway, getting back to these, I'm going to hang these up. They came with the free bucket. I'm going to hang them up around Beaver Creek. For one thing, just to look at. And maybe they'll keep some of the mice away. Who knows? Maybe I'll even put it around my my bait stands. Maybe that'll help keep some of the rodents away. We're just going to keep this going as long as you guys are interested. So I'll see you next week, and I hope each and every one of you have a great week.